Hi, it's Crystal with everydayfoodstorage.net, and today I'm going to show you more ways you can use your pressure cooker. And I'm going to use my favorite, which is the electric Cuisinart. I like the electric one just because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of pressure cooking. You don't have to try and gauge if your ticker's ticking too much or too little or any of that. Although if you have an old one, I would definitely keep it. I still have my old one, and I keep it because in an emergency it's actually really great to use. You can use it on your barbecue or things like that, and it takes less time to cook things, so you're going to conserve your fuel. So keep that in mind, or if you go camping, it's also a good way to bring your old one and use that for cooking as well. But let me show you what we're going to do. I'm going to make rice today. I'm actually making sticky rice. A great rice cooker, and you can actually cook things like brown rice in a fraction of the time. I think it takes about 20 minutes. You can also do wheat berries. It's all going to be about the same idea. So I need to make 3 cups of rice, and I'm going to do 1 cup of rice and 1.5 cups of water. Now this is a little different than doing rice on the stove, because if you've ever made rice on the stove, you know that it's 1 cup of rice and 2 cups of water makes 3 cups of rice. But in the pressure cooker, it's 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of the water. So it's a 1 to 1.5 ratio instead of a 1 to 2 ratio. The other thing we want to make sure and put in is a tablespoon of butter. This isn't necessarily for flavor, and you can use any oil, but this is actually the reason why you put oil or butter in your rice, is to keep the foam from going down. It's really important when you have a pressure cooker that you keep the foam down, or it can foam up and ruin your pressure cooker. So I put in a tablespoon of butter, and you can also put in some salt if you like that. It's totally preferential. And if you're using a store-bought broth, I probably wouldn't add in any salt because that already is going to have a lot of salt in it. So I put that into my container. I did it without my trivet. Obviously, this is more if you're going to do meat or something that needs to sit off the base. And with rice, we don't need this because the rice would just fall through the holes. So I'm going to take my lid and I'm going to lock it in place. And you always want to check and make sure it's locked, because if it's not locked, it won't ever get to pressure, and you'll be sitting around waiting forever wondering why I ever told you pressure cookers work fast, because they do. So make sure you pull up on it and make sure that it's locked. If it's not locked, it will come right off. So make sure that it's locked, and then we're just going to press the menu button and put it on high pressure. And this is actually what's amazing, is I'm going to set my timer for only 3 minutes, and it will be done. So there's 3 minutes, and then I'm going to press start. That's another thing you want to make sure and do. If you don't press start, it's not going to ever get going. So press start. Then when this is done, the nice thing about this is after the 3 minutes, you need to let it naturally pressure release for 7 minutes. Naturally letting the pressure release means you don't touch your machine until 7 minutes has gone by, and then if there's any other pressure left, because remember with the electric pressure cooker, it won't let you take the lid off until it's absolutely safe and all pressure has been released. So if after the 7 minutes it still won't let you unlock the lid, then what we're going to do is we're going to pressure release any of the rest of the pressure, and I'll show you how to do that. But anyway, we'll go ahead and let this go for 3 minutes, let it naturally pressure release for 7 minutes, and then I've got my rice ready to go for dinner this evening. Okay, so I cooked it on high pressure for 3 minutes and let it naturally release its pressure for 7 minutes. Now some people are a little iffy about pressure cookers because of the time that it takes to actually get to pressure, because it won't start counting down the 3 minutes until it's at that high pressure, which can take a couple minutes. But if you think about it, it takes 20 minutes to cook rice, but that doesn't include the time it takes to get your water boiling before you actually count the cook time. So cooking time wise, it did cut it in half, because this would take 10 minutes, you know, the 3 minutes cooking, the 7 minutes on natural pressure release, that's 10 minutes, whereas normally it takes 20 minutes to cook rice. So I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll let me open the lid, which it won't. So what we need to do is in the back, where it has this thing and it says pressure and pressure release, we need to open up the pressure release. And I'm going to use a hot pad to do this because obviously steam is going to come out to release the pressure. And what you want to do is just turn it until it clicks, and then it will go ahead and release the rest of the pressure. If you had an old pressure cooker back in the old days, the way you do this is run it under cold water, or just open it and hope you didn't get steam burn. So that's why I like this electric pressure cooker, because again, it won't let you open it until it's safe and you won't get steam burn. The way you can tell when it's done is here on the lid, you see this little red dot, and it is close to the top. Oh, and it's hot. It is close to the top, and it will sink down when it is done releasing its pressure, and you'll actually hear it sort of make a clicking sound like it's unlocking, and that's when you'll be able to open up your pressure cooker. That's how you'll know when it's safe, at least to do so. So when I can open this, I'll go ahead and open it and show you what the rice looks like so you can see. Okay, so it was about 30 seconds I had to wait for it to finish releasing its pressure. And now you can see I can open it. And we have perfectly cooked rice. This actually makes rice more like a rice cooker than it does on the stove. And you want to make sure and fluff it with a fork. Let me go ahead and fluff it. And it'll make it sticky, which is a must at my house.
Let's go, Mom. Let's go.
But as you can see, it is beautiful rice, and you can make more rice. I don't eat a lot of rice, there's not a lot of people in my family. So for more tips and tricks for using your food storage every day, visit www.everydayfoodstorage.net.